Well, Hawks fans, things just keep getting crazier. In a game of runs, the Atlanta Hawks fall to our old friends in Chicago, 128 to 123 to fall to 1 and 3 while the Chicago Bulls improve to 3 and 0. But welcome to Hawks Digest. I am Chris Tip Moore. Glad to see you all because we have some things to talk about in this one. Take off your shoes, leave on your socks, get comfortable while we talk about this game. Definitely going to have to recap it. Before I do, I got to give my shout out to you. Thank you for everyone who is subscribed to Hawks Digest, as we appreciate you guys for pushing us, getting closer to 2,800. It's all because of you, so thank you for being a part of the family. And for those who are still skeptical about Hawks Digest, I'm telling you, man, this is the place to be for your season recaps, for your previews. Me and Walter Pollard, we got you covered, so come on over and be a part of the family. All right, y'all. Hawks, Bulls, first go round. The Chicago Bulls was coming in already 2 and 0. Again, they improved to 3 and 0 tonight. But the Atlanta Hawks, they put up an early fight. I believe the Atlanta Hawks, they started off well. This was actually the second game you can really say that the Atlanta Hawks was at full strength because, of course, in the first game against the Raptors, we lost Zaccharie Risacher. Then next, you would lose Jalen Johnson for a game. Kristaps Porzingis had flu-like symptoms. So it was just like, early shots at the Atlanta Hawks' health already. But the Atlanta Hawks, still was able to at least come into this game being 1 and 2 with an opportunity to make it to 500. They started off early, 13-point deficit that the Chicago Bulls was facing, and the Atlanta Hawks was coming out aggressive like they knew that they had to win this game, and they wanted to take it. And I honestly enjoyed the energy in the beginning. The first quarter was pretty well. So the Hawks won that quarter 35-27. I have really no complaints. Guys were getting up shots. Kristaps Porzingis looked well. Like in the first 4 minutes, he had 10 points. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's the Kristaps we're looking for. That's the the Atlanta Hawks we want to see. And they had the Chicago Bulls on the ropes. Now, again, this was more so like a game of runs because in the second quarter the Chicago Bulls would play better than the Atlanta Hawks to be able to bring it to 58-57 by the halftime. Then that's when things got a little strange because in a sense, Death Quarter returned and reared its ugly head to a degree. I mean, at the end of the day, the Atlanta Hawks still scored 34 points in the third quarter, but you still had that 17-4 run, and I believe that's what really kind of catapulted the Chicago Bulls over the Atlanta Hawks. Saying in that particular quarter with the momentum. But I will say at the end of the third quarter, I did like the fact that Quin Snyder did decide to bring Trey Young back in the game, realizing that, hey, the non-Trey Young minutes right now are still a problem, and they were in this game, but getting him back in and you could just automatically just see the tempo of the game and just the offense moving forward just changing. It was a complete shift getting Trey Young back into this game, and he just came in and went on a tear. But I'll get more into it myself. I will get more into it. And just real quick, let me just talk about Trey. In this game, honestly, to me, Trey Young, overall, played a very good game. Overall, I understand the point totals. I understand if people may be talking about his efficiency because he was 7 for 22. That is only 31%, and he was 1 for 10 from three. But the Atlanta Hawks overall were 11 for 32 from three. What the best guys that were shooting the three ball was Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You also had Onyeka Okongwu hit 2 of 3, who is also shooting the three ball so far in the beginning of the season better. So, love that off-season work. Luke Kennard hit his only 3. But again, 1 for 10 for Trae Young, 3 for 6 for Kristaps Porzingis, 0 for 3 for Jalen Johnson, 0 for 2 for Zaccharie Risacher. And so overall, the Hawks didn't shoot well from the 3-point line. But, Trae Young overall, I feel like, especially when it came to like turnovers, he only had 1 turnover. For those who always talk about about his turnovers, he only had 1 tonight. 21 points, 17 assists, and it's just you hate to lose this game when Trey has a type of game like this. So keeping the turnovers down, something that I want to see going forward. I see that you can do it. I see it can be done. I want to see more of it. But like again, 17 assists, getting a couple of rebounds as well. 6 of 7 from the line. So, but overall, I just feel like some of the decision making. I feel like he made better decisions. Of course, yeah, he did try some logo shots and some deep threes. It was a couple of things, but most times Trey was just attacking, and so he gave the Atlanta Hawks the opportunity to stay in this game and to possibly win this game toward the end. I just feel like possibly better execution toward the end. Some from players and coaches. Then some possibly the Atlanta Hawks can pull this game out. Honestly, but talking about this game into some more depth, just some bars like overall team play and different things, I will say that the Atlanta Hawks did do a little better as far as points in the paint. They won the points in the paint battle actually 68-64 in this particular game. And then you also the fast break points. Now we did lose the fast break points by 1. The fast break points was lost 22-21. The biggest lead, of course, again, like I said, was 13 for the Hawks, and it was 11 for those Chicago Bulls. After going on that 17-4 run, they just went on and went on. But then the Hawks, to their credit, replied with a 9-2 run to be able to come back in this game and then actually even take the lead back from them. And then after that, it was just switching back and forth from lead change to lead change. All the way down. Thrilling game at the end of the game, to be honest with you, if you're just a ultimate basketball fan like myself, too. I mean, of course, you want your team to win always. But as far as just basketball goes, that fourth quarter was pretty premium. So, if you missed that, you did miss a treat going down the stretch. Bench points, the Chicago Bulls were able to defeat the Atlanta Hawks in that as well, 53-46. As guys were coming off the bench for the Bulls and contributing, and that's what they're for. The others, that's what some of them guys are for. But the points off turnovers, which the turnover battle, the Atlanta Hawks obliterated. Only 6 turnovers from the Atlanta Hawks. Again, that's why you just hate to lose a game like this, because overall keeping the turnovers down. If the Atlanta Hawks can play 75 more games like that to where they have 6 or less turnovers, I believe that they improve their chances to win the game substantially. 24 points off turnovers compared to 11 for the Chicago Bulls. So like you had situations, you had things going into your favor as far as that goes, but still, there's just a few things that are rearing its ugly head real soon, and it's just still early. Only 4 games in the season. Again, this is only the second game that the Hawks were able to play at full strength as a team. So the guys still got to get acclimated. That chemistry still isn't there with the new pieces yet. We have to take that in consideration when we're looking at the Atlanta Hawks right now early on. We still have plenty of time to get it together, but I like the positives of guys like Jalen Johnson, Kristaps Porzingis, Trae Young, all being in the 20s, but having like 5 guys in double figures, ultimately, like Onyeka Okongwu, like Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So, shout out to all those guys because the percentages was good, from most of these guys, Jalen Johnson, 11 for 18, 61% from the field. Kristaps Porzingis, in 26 minutes, he had 27 points, 11 for 17, 64% from the field, 50% from 3. Another guy, Onyeka Okongwu, absolute beast tonight. 8 for 11, 72% from the field, 2 of 3 from three, 18 points with 10 big rebounds. And then I guess again you have Nickeil Alexander Walker, who was 6 from 11, 54%, 4 of 6 from the 3-point line. Really was our best shooter from the 3-point line tonight, and he's come over and he's doing his job for the most part. I must say, 17 points for the guy. But a guy that is also that I want to give an honorable mention to is Mo G. Mo G defensively tonight was, I feel like, was good. I just feel like he didn't get enough burn. Of course, other guys, were getting opportunities, but guys like Onyeka, he's cooking. St. Christoph's, he's cooking. It's kind of tough for Mo G, but maybe you could have found a way to maybe if Christoph is taking a rest, to maybe give Mo G some opportunity. But that's still tough because you got Jalen Johnson, who is also cooking. So I would have loved to see more of Mo G because defensively I feel like he helped. I feel like he helped the team just overall when he was on the floor, period. And I want to see more of him going forward. But it's just you're going to have to try to figure out those rotations. Talking to Quin Snyder, Coach Quin, you'll have to go and figure that out because Mo G is a difference maker a little bit when he's out there on the floor defensively, especially around the rim. Because Kristaps Porzingis, he's 7'3", but I still don't necessarily feel like right now teams are respecting him around the rim as far as to being like a rim protector. But Mo G, when he comes around, yeah, Mo G, he's not having it. So there's just something to kind of think about. And Coach Quin, he's got to figure it out. I said in my last video, this team early on is going to go as far as Coach Quin can coach us. And tonight, I just feel like as far as in that third quarter, coming out of the locker room into that third quarter, the adjustments were made by the Chicago Bulls. I feel like enough adjustments were made and kind of like it was a return of the death quarter in the way. And we have to get better at that. So those third quarters have to get better. The Atlanta Hawks overall as a team have to get better at closing out on the shooters, being better in transition defense because, again, fast break points helped the Chicago Bulls win this game. If you were able to limit maybe some of those fast break points in transition, I think that the Atlanta Hawks would have been able to win this game a little more smooth, or win this game and be smooth, saying more so than at the end having that thrilling finish because think about it. And one thing I didn't necessarily even want Trae to even come off the floor because, saying him himself, man, you could tell like when he came in at the end of the third quarter, everything just changed. But I know you got to give guys a rest. I know you do. And I wasn't necessarily mad at Quin, but it was just like, man, because the guys, they did well even when Trae was out of the game. So I'm not even mad at it. I just know that when we had the lead, and then Billy Donovan, when we had the lead 112 to 108, 112 I believe, like 106 at the time, and Billy Donovan took the timeout. They came out the timeout. They started running the offense. They got a bucket, 108, 112, and then after that, it was just like an onslaught, and it was led by Ayo Dosunmu. And he had a great night, especially shooting from the 3-point line. He was 4 of 6. That's like the most I've ever seen him shoot. And he was 7 of 10 from the field anyway, 70%. And honestly, I can't say anything about it. He was getting open. He was being left open. He was knocking down his shots. Josh Giddey was also, saying well for them too, because when he was in there for them, the offense flowed so better for the Chicago Bulls, and that spelled disaster for the Atlanta Hawks as well. The last thing that I feel like was disaster for the Atlanta Hawks, rebounding. I have to mention the rebounding. We got obliterated in the rebounding tip, 51 to I believe to 36, and we got beat up on the boards. So, and that goes back to kind of when I was talking about as far as like size and everything and respecting our guy Kristaps Porzingis, but just others just as well in the paint. You have Onyeka Okongwu out there working hard, and you have Kristaps as well. but Kristaps only had like 2 rebounds himself. Jalen Johnson, he's going to have 6. Dyson, he's still out there giving you 7 rebounds as well. Be right with you on Dyson. But overall, we just have to get that rebounding down point, because if we can't rebound, teams get extra possessions. That's how another way how teams be having those open threes, because you'll get will miss the rebound. You have the paint clogged because you have multiple guys trying to reach for the ball and fighting for the ball. Then next thing you know, you have someone out there when the Bulls gain possession, they can kick it out to someone for an open three. So we have to get better at rebounding. The Atlanta Hawks do. Now, real quickly before I get up out of here, guys, I do want to mention a couple of players. I want to mention first Luke Kennard. I feel like the Atlanta Hawks right now, in the first couple of games, only first couple of games, so it's still plenty of time for this to change. But I don't think we're using Luke Kennard to his strengths. I I don't think there are any plays. I mean, and I understand it's not. I mean, you're running plays for Luke Kennard, but I understand that. But it's just like to use him at his strength. You may have to start running some plays to where he's being able to come off a screen, set up, and and get a three, or maybe he's in the corner after rotations and he's getting the open three. Just something to where we're using him at his strengths. Because right now, I don't think we're using him at his strengths, and he's looking more so like a weakness. With all due respect, but he's looking more so like a weakness right now on the court, alongside with Trae Young, or alongside with a Keaton Wallace and Kristaps Porzingis on the floor. I think right now if we're gonna have Luke Kennard on the floor offensively, sometimes I think we have to try to get Luke open so he can get those threes, knock down those threes, and help apply pressure on the defense even more. Because, I mean, that's his best attribute. So if we can start having him knock down threes, maybe at least about 9 to 12 points, somewhere in that area, I believe that it actually would help the Atlanta Hawks be better, because you're applying pressure and having him do the best thing that he can do. Dyson Daniels. I can't even call you Dyson Lamar, because right now you're not playing like Dyson Lamar. It's a slow start for Dyson Daniels. Now, I want to mention one thing. He was never necessarily brought here for scoring, but after last year, you do want to see some steady flow, or improvement. Tonight, Dyson Daniels 1 for 8. He just could not get it going like that. A few plays, so you could see that he was kind of trying to force it, just trying to get on the board, break the ice, and it just was not working out for him. And you have games like that. It's going to be tough. But ideally, from your starters, you don't want to have a combined 4 points from 2 of your starters. Speaking about Zaccharie Risacher as well, being 1 from 5 from the field, only 2 points. But Zach was just really getting back. He looked like a guy that's just really getting back. So take that for what it's worth. But ultimately, still, regardless, you don't necessarily, that's not ideal, having only 4 points from 2 of your starters. Again, if you get a little bit more from Zach, you get a little bit more from Dyson. Like if Dyson could have went 4 for 8 from in this game, the Hawks probably win. You know what I'm saying? If Zach Risacher goes 3 for 5, the Hawks probably win. So it's just again, those guys are starters. So you're going to have to get a little bit more from those guys as well to just go along and help out. Ultimately, I'm not necessarily mad at the loss. Saying we're going to lose games, but I do also recognize that the Atlanta Hawks are still trying to gel. This wasn't necessarily a bad game overall from the Atlanta Hawks. When you look at the offensive end, they brought some intensity. It just fell off after adjustments, the death quarter. And the fourth quarter was there. We had opportunities. We had even Dyson Daniels, on the defensive end. He helped out on the defensive end in that fourth quarter with some big plays, giving us opportunities. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, again, just the team, they had an opportunity at the end. It was just execution, and the Bulls were able to execute and knock down more shots, open shots. and consistent flow throughout the fast breaks over the Atlanta Hawks. And of course, like I said, the rebounding. The rebounding was huge tonight, 36 to 51. If the Atlanta Hawks can get more rebounds, it just honestly the result could have been different for the Atlanta Hawks. I really believe that. But guys, unfortunately, regardless, Hawks fall. We're 1-3. We're looking at the Brooklyn Nets next on Wednesday, October 29th in Brooklyn. So, yes, we're still on the road, but the Atlanta Hawks have an opportunity to possibly climb closer to getting to 500% for the season against the Brooklyn Nets, who are a young team. They lost tonight to the Rockets 137 to 109. Please do not allow the Brooklyn Nets, even though they're going to be at home, but still, please do not allow the Brooklyn Nets to try to run you out the gym. This is another opportunity for the Hawks to try to gel and work together and get these wins for the city of Atlanta. But until next time, y'all, peace and blessings to you all, my Hawks fans. And to you all, I'll hop.